Everyone, my name is Bodice. How you all doing? I just love you guys. I love you so much. Just check if you are still subscribed, and if not, just tap on the red button right down there to subscribe. Tell your friends about this channel. You know, you can just learn one or two things in your sewing career. Yes, you can follow me on Instagram, Bodice Signatures, and our sewing group on Facebook is Sewing Innovations. Yes, just try to search for it and join us there. Today's tutorial will be on how to draft a basic bodice pattern for girls. Yes, and I'll try to talk about the standard measurements of various ages, because we have the standard measurement for various ages. There could be variants, but in most cases that is the average for girls. I'll try as much as possible to make it details. So now let's go to the work table as usual and get started. Now let's talk about the standard measurement. So I'll start with 6 months. I just chose the ages randomly. But right now let's talk about 6 months to 1 year. Now for the shoulder measurement, it is between 8 inches and 8.5. So for 6 months, 8 inches is okay. For 1 year, 8.5 is okay. So for the chest circumference, it will be 19 inches to 20 inches. But remember, girls varies in size and shapes. Yes. For instance, my older son is so plump, even right from birth. Some mothers could relate with me when I say, okay, I have a baby that weighs 4 kilo at birth. So you will understand 4 kilogram baby is quite big. So because at times, instead of this 19 inches, I use 17 inches. Yes. So just to let you know that girls varies in size and shapes. While these at times you could use 18, 19, or even 21. It depends on how the girl is big or slim. So for the waist measurement, for girls that are lower than 10 years, you just use their chest circumference also as their waist circumference. Yes. So going over to half of the armhole, because when drafting your basic bodies, you need half of your armhole to curve out the armhole curve. So half of the armhole for 6 months to 1 year is 3.5 to 3/4 inches. Then for the neck width, you use 2 inches to 2.25. Bodice length. What do I mean by bodice length? From the nape to the waist. That is what I meant by bodice length. So 7.5 to 8 inches is quite okay. So now going over to 5 years to 6 years. So I will be drafting a basic bodice for this age. So let's just quickly go over the measurement again. So the shoulder measurement will be 10 inches to 10.5. So for 5 years, you could just make use of 10. Even for 6 years, you could make use of 10 too. But it depends on the girl you are making any outfit for. And at times, because I got this question from one of my students, that okay, I measure my child and I got the shoulder measurements to be like 11 or 11.5. But remember, the dress or whatever you're making, outfit you're making for the girl, shouldn't end at the shoulder area. It has to come in a bit. Let me just make a quick sketch of that. Okay, let's just look at this. Sorry for my sketch. So this is the shoulder from here to here. So when you measure from here now down to here and you get 11 inches, remember the dress you are making for this girl should not stop around here. Because even when I am trying to make basic bodies for adults, and I'm telling you, if it is sleeveless, you don't make it stop here. So you have to go in 1 inch inward or even 1.5, because you don't want the dress peeking out of the girl's shoulder. So that is why on the average, this measurement I use is okay. So please take note of that, except you are making a dress with sleeve. So now, for the waist, I told you earlier, you just make use of the chest circumference also as the waist measurement. So half of the armhole for a girl of 5 to 6, you use between 4.75 to 5 inches. Then for the neck width, 2.5 inches is quite okay. Then for the bodice length, 10 inches to 11 inches is okay. Now going over to 8 years to 10 years. So the shoulder measurement will be 11 inches to 11.5. But remember, when you are drafting, you need half of this shoulder measurement. So for the chest circumference, 27 to 29 is quite okay for that. So for the waist measurement, I said earlier on that girls below 10 years just use whatever chest circumference you are using as the waist. So like for a girl of 8 or 9, you can just make use of the same measurement for the waist. So if you are using 27, so the waist also will be 27. But the girl of 10 years, if you are using 29 inches, so for the waist you can use 26, because some girls at the age of 10 already has a beautiful shape. So just take note of that. So below 10 years, just use their chest circumference for their waist. Even a girl of 10, you can do that. But in case you want it to be shaped for another, you can make use of 26, 27 inches. So half of the armhole is between 5.5 to 6 inches. Then the neck width, 3 inches is okay. Then the body's length, 11.5 to 12 inches. So with this now, I believe you can at least draft and take the measurement of your key. So right now we'll go over to draft the basic body. Here I have 2 cut out cardboard. So one will be for the back and one for the front. That's if you are having a zipper. But if you don't need a zipper, just one is enough. So now let me just take one of the cardboard and then start. So going over the measurements, I will be making a basic body for the 5 years old. Yeah, that's okay. So the first thing I'll just take note is the body's length, which is 10 inches. So that 10 inches, you can add your seam allowance if you want to add all your seam allowance to the basic bodies all at once. So instead of 10 inches, you can make it 10.5 or even 11, depending on the seam allowance you want to use for that. So now I'll just, from the lower part, so I want it to be 10.5. So then I will mark here, then I'll move forward again, 10.5. And you see that? Now just draw into a straight line. So now the next thing is to determine the shoulder slope. Remember, even for adult, when I talk about basic bodies, we use the 3 inches, 8 inches standard for the shoulder slope to determine it. So here now we'll make use of 2 inches. So this is 2 inches. So from this 2 inches point, I'll just measure 4 inches, which is here. Can you see that? So from this 4 inches point, just come down by 3/4. 3/4 is here. Then connect that point. So the initial one. So now we have the shoulder slope. So with this now you can impute your shoulder measurement. Looking at the shoulder measurement, as I said, I'll make use of 10 inches. So half of that will be 5 inches. So from the beginning, I'll just mark 5 inches. So can you see that? So half of my armhole here now, I can make use of 4 3/4, but I'll just make use of 5 inches. So I'll just measure that 5 inches from the slope, because this is negligible. We don't need this again. We have determined the shoulder slope. So from here now, I'll just measure. If you are using 4 3/4, you make use of 4 3/4. If you are making use of 5, then you just insert it. So I have that here. So then I can draw into a straight line. So to make it accurate, to make the straight line accurate, just measure from the edge. Here I have 5.5. Then I'll come over here and measure that same 5.5. I want to have a perfect straight line. Good. So this is the chest line. Can you see that? So with this, I can also draw the armhole line. That's pretty easy. I haven't done that now. Let's go to the chest circumference. The chest circumference will be 24 for an average girl. But I just want you to know that, okay, this varies as I've explained initially. Some child could be big, some could be small. As I've said, girls varies in different sizes and shapes. But you could just take your time to measure out the kid you are trying to make a dress for. So whatever, because I am of the opinion that you take your measurements. I don't assume in most cases. So I'll just make sure you take your measurement. Sometimes you have 24, 25, it depends for even a 5 years old girl. So I'll make use of 24. So half of that, you divide it by 4. You should know that by now. 24 divided by 4, that is 6 inches. So just insert your 6 inches here. So can you see that? So in case you want to add the same allowance just as we had to the bodice length, just add to it. So that will be 1 inch. So whatever you have here, you insert also at the waistline. So here I have 7. I'll move it down. That's 6 inches, quarter of the chest measurement plus 1 inch. So that's why I have 7 inches. So can you see that? I draw a straight line. So can you see this? So it's as easy as that. So the next thing now is to go to the neck width before we carve out the armhole. So the neck width, I said you can make use of 2.5. So you can just make use of 2.5, or better still, you can make use of 2 inches, because since we've already added seam allowance to other parts, if you take in 2 inches, by the time you sew it up, you turn it with the lining, it will come back to 2.5. But if you want it to be wider, you can make use of that exact 2.5 or 2.25. I hope you understand that. So if you just want to maintain the 2 inches, you can leave it at this, or 2.5, 2.25. You just extend through the shoulder slope. But let me just make do with the 2 inches. So by the time I turn it with the lining, I'll have 2.5, which is still okay. So for the depth, I'll make use of 3 inches. 3 inches. Then take my armhole and hook off. I want a perfect U neckline. So this is what I have. Can you see that? So for the back, you just come down by 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch. So let me just make use of 1/2 inch is okay. So that's for the back neckline. So the next thing now is the armhole curve. So for the armhole curve, just get the midpoint. Here I have 5, so the midpoint is 2.5. Can you see that? So for the front armhole, I'll just go in by 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch. So this is 1/2 inch here. Just copy it this way. And then the edge. So looking at that, the front armhole is done. So for the back armhole, just split it this way and then connect it. Can you see that was pretty easy? So we are done with it. So if you want to add that to this, just the same way we had to our own measurements, but for a girl, you just need to leave it plain. So that is that on this. So now it's time to cut out. So first we have to cut out all the back measurements. So the back armhole, the back neckline. And you see, to draft a basic body for a girl is very, very easy, because I've got a lot of requests that please try to make outfit for girls. And I think I will try to do more of that. Though I don't have a baby girl, but that doesn't matter. Then the back neck. Can you see that? It's done. Can you see that? So in case you don't need a zipper, but that's in most cases in airline dresses for kids. So you can just trim up the front after placing this on your fabric, cutting it out, then trim up the front armhole, neckline, and then the armhole. Then you also place it. Or instead of drafting another one for the back, if you are drafting on your fabric, just draft it away 1 inch away from the fabric and you are done. But let me just finish up this by taking another cardboard. Can you see this? And then I have 1 inch away from the edge. Let me just show you that. Can you see that's 1 inch for the zipper allowance. I haven't done that. Then you place it this way on the lower part. Make sure the edge is on the 1 inch line. Then you trace, or instead of tracing, you just cut it out straight away. So that's all on the back bodice. Can you see? Then you cut this out, and that's all. So you have for the back. That's if you have a zipper to extend this. That is that. So then we have to finish up the front armhole. So this is what the front basic bodice look like, and then the back, let me just cut that out. Right now we have our basic bodice both for the front and the back, and you see that was pretty easy. Yes, as the kids always say, everything in sewing is easy. So with this, I'm sure you can draft a basic bodice pattern for your girl, and then try to make an outfit for her. And then I promise I'll try as much as possible out of my tight schedule to try and make girls' outfits. Yes, if my tutorial has been helpful, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, tell your friends about this channel. So bye for now.